Fed Powell just started Bitcoin supercycle.
Decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point.
Bitcoin's just entered a supercycle we have never seen before, and everyone's been waiting for. If this plays out, the next move could change everything. Let's break it down, starting with Fed Powell.
Good afternoon. My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. While the unemployment rate remains low, it has edged up. Job gains have slowed, and downside risks to employment have risen. At the same time, inflation has risen recently and remains somewhat elevated. In support of our goals, and in light of the shift in the balance of risks, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to lower our policy interest rate by a 1/4 percentage point. We also decided to continue to reduce our securities holdings. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that growth of economic activity has moderated. GDP rose at a pace of around 1.5% in the first half of the year, down from 2.5% last year. The moderation in growth largely reflects a slowdown in consumer spending. In contrast, business investment in equipment and intangibles has picked up from last year's pace. Activity in the housing sector remains weak. In our summary of economic projections, the median participant projects GDP to rise 1.6% this year and 1.8% next year, a touch stronger than projected in June.
Central banks around the world have been printing money at levels we've simply never seen before. Trillions are entering the system, and every pound, every dollar that gets created out of thin air makes the money in your pocket worth less. But now the Fed has lowered rates, which means they are going to print even more money at lower rates, which is great for asset holders like us Bitcoiners.
This thing is going to be big. There's no reason that digital credit, the credit on gold became bigger than the gold supply. The digital credit may be bigger than the Bitcoin network. If Bitcoin goes to 100 trillion or 200 trillion, there could be 200 trillion of credit on top of it. You may not want to issue it. That's up to you. Someone will want to buy it. And that is the future that the market will determine. And the market is 100 industries, 100 capital markets, and your job as a Bitcoin treasury company, solve the problem, solve the compliance problem, solve the tax problem, solve the issuance problem, solve the credit problem, do the marketing, do the product design, solve the distribution problem, evangelize the future of digital capital and digital credit, and roll with the punches. Right? Don't get liquidated on volatility. Build the most robust structure you can.
Now here's the thing. Bitcoin was designed for exactly this moment. A fixed supply, 21 million coins. No central authority that can just print more. As fiat currencies are being debased, investors are waking up to the fact that Bitcoin isn't just a speculative asset anymore. It's becoming the ultimate hedge against inflation. If this trend continues and the money printer keeps running hot, we could be staring down the barrel of a supercycle. One that doesn't stop at 100k or even 500k. I'm talking about a rally that could push Bitcoin all the way to $1 million per coin and beyond. Before we hear from Jack Maulers, make sure to like and subscribe on the video. Also, comment below. Do you think we're heading into a supercycle?
They're saying the quiet part out loud. And the quiet part to me is a monetary regime change.
The end of the Bretton Woods era in the 1970s fundamentally changed the conduct of monetary policy.
Okay, that was a lot of boring. Let me break it down. The Bretton Woods era, the divorce of the gold standard, is the death of the US dollar. You cannot divorce yourself from the physical realities of Mother Nature. To be candid, I'd never really seen a chairman say something so painfully true and so brutally honest like that, and that when we divorced from the gold standard, shit got fucked. Sorry. Kid show. Excuse my language. Let's just make it simple. You owe someone $37 trillion. How do you make that affordable so you can pay that back? Well, you make the dollar, the thing that you owe, worth less. In real life, When someone is in debt, they have two options, typically. One, you could pay it back like an honest man. Two, you can default. If I owe you $20, I either can pay the $20 back and erase my debt, or I can call you up and say, listen, I get it if you don't want to be friends with me, but I default on the $20. I just can't pay you back. Those are the two options. In all of our lives, in any normal human's life, the US government has a third option unique to them. They can print what they owe.
As a central bank, we have the ability to create money.
Guys, just run the math. They cannot pay the debt back. They cannot default. So it's a multiple choice question with one obvious answer. But for the life of us Bitcoiners, no one was ever willing to admit the truth. We were being gaslit and lied to and manipulated by media, by government, by financial authorities, by TV analysts for years. Now to hear it from Jerome Powell in Reuters, and this isn't even like beating around the bush. I'm going to read this title one more time just because it feels good rolling off the tongue. Historic, not, a mild version. Historic dollar fall is needed to eliminate the U.S. trade deficit. They need a weaker dollar. Which, weaker against what? I have an answer to that. This is debasing the dollar against an asset. I expect the dollar to be weaker in Bitcoin and gold terms because it's all about weak against what? How are they going to devalue their way out of this? Against what? What's the one thing Trump did not tariff? What's the one thing he set up a strategic reserve for? There's an obvious best expression of currency debasement. Look at that.
So the question is, are we witnessing the very beginning of Bitcoin's historic march to 1 million, or will the government try to slam the brakes on before it happens? This could truly be Bitcoin's once-in-a-lifetime supercycle. If you enjoyed this video, please drop us a hype. This will help us reach more people, and subscribe with notifications for more future Bitcoin videos. Also, drop me a comment. Do you think we should try and print our way out of this crisis? Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace.